Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be trying to implement infinite scrolling. This is a popular interview question and we'll be implementing it using React. So I've already went and I created a basic React project and let me run it. And run it in H. This is a basic component which we already have created, which is infinite scroll 1, scroll 2. What I'll be doing is I'll be showing you two ways uh, of implementing infinite scroll. So let me just go with the first way. So for the infinite scroll one, so first of all, what we'll do is like we'll be fetching some of the data from an API. Let me paste it. Let me basically write the basic logic of fetching a data. This is gonna fetch this endpoint. Let me. So first of all, we'll be getting the response. Then we'll convert it to JSON. Then we'll be basically updating it in a state variable. It's gonna be an empty array by default. I need to await it also. So I'll be getting the data and I'll be needing to take the products out of this data if I recall correctly. So I'll do set products. I'll first take the previous products. Then I'll adjust the new product which we got just now. I think it should be products, I guess. We'll see if there's any issue as such. But anyways, we'll be using these products to unmap it in the UI. So let me do one thing. Let me create a UL first of all. And let me take the index as the key. Product, I guess title will be there. We'll see if it's there, then we'll use it. Otherwise, we'll just change it. Anyway, this is a basic fetching of the product. Let us see if something is coming up or not. Let us see. Now let us open the DevTools once and let me refresh it. I think it's just the issues products. It's an array. So let me spread it. Previous products as well as data products. Let us refresh. As you can see, we are getting the data now. And now we'll be writing the mostly the logic which is for the handling the infinite scroll. So what I'll do is like in whenever I'm fetching the products, I'll be listening for a scroll event. And let me just write the first of all the basic code. And I'll write a cleanup function also for this. So now let me do one thing. Let me first of all console log couple of things which will be using to handle the infinite scroll. One is gonna be the window dot height, I guess, inner height. Another is gonna be scroll, I guess, scroll y, and then maybe and then document dot body dot scroll height. So let me do one thing. Let me show you what is there for everything, and for it to be visible, let me do one thing. Let us now console and see. Let me refresh it and let me scroll. As you can see, when you scroll, you're getting an inner height, you're getting the scroll y value of how much you have scrolled, and you're also getting the, I think I did something wrong here. What? Yeah, you're getting a scroll height, which is the whole value of this DOM. So as you can see, scroll height is constant because it's the value for this whole, you can say, the DOM document. And inner height, as you can see, it's somewhat like whatever is there being shown in the viewport currently. And scroll y is the value of how much you're scrolling. Okay, you can just tweak it more better. But let me do one thing. Let me show you the DevTools in a different way. Make it what? Bottom. Now let me refresh it and let me scroll. As you can see, the inner height is now 442. Now if I reduce it, now if I go back and see, now as you can see, inner height is reduced. So in a way, inner height is the height which is visible portion. Scroll by is the value which you scroll, how much amount, and the what you can say, scroll height is the value of the whole document. So what we want is like whenever we reach the end of this whole document, which is the scroll height, only then we want to call the products. So we'll be doing a check here, and yeah, as you might have noticed that we are calling it again and again the scroll event. So we need to do an if check here. If window dot inner height plus window dot scroll y, if it's greater than equal to document dot body dot scroll height. If that is the case, only that scenario will be again fetching the products, if you're getting my point. The scroll event is going to be triggered every time when we scroll, but only when this condition matches. That is basically we have reached the end of this whole document. Only then we are going to fetch the products. Now let us see the output. I'll be showing the output in Chrome because I was facing some issues with my Edge again. So let me refresh it in the Chrome, the endpoint. And when we reach at the end, as you can see, the API will be called. Again, if we reach the end, it's gonna again call the API and we are able to have the products again and again in fan scrolling. So this was using the scroll event, and you might have noticed you're calling the handle scroll. Basically, you're adding this listener and it's calling the scroll again and again. So there's a better way, I think, for this, which is using intersection observer. So the next solution will be doing that itself. So let me just comment this off. And let me do one thing. Let me mostly copy all of the logic here, paste it, just change here F2 to scroll to, and let me remove the handle scroll logic. Now what we do is like we need a sentence. What happens in interaction observer is like I'll not be able to explain in lot in detail because this video is focusing on infinite scrolling, but you can check out the MDN docs. It's quite documented there well in very with good examples as such. So I'll be explaining in a brief level. What happens is like you basically create a div element, or you can say whatever element you want. That's going to be your sentinel, or you can say your reference observer, you can say. And you can basically observe that element with your viewport if you don't give any details. And then I think it's better I'll just write the code and after post that we'll see the demo and then I can explain it better, I guess. Anyways, I would suggest you check out the intersection observer API from the MDN docs for more clarity. So anyways, let me come back here. Let me first of all create a div element here. I'll be giving at the bottom of UL tag, load more. Let me give a reference, sentinel ref. And what I'll do is like, whenever this fetch products is called, I would also do the observation. So I have to do new intersection observer. Here I need to pass a callback. If I recall, it's gonna be entries. Don't worry, I'll be explaining the code more in detail after I write it. If entries 0 dot is intersecting, only then I'll call the fetch products. And let me hit observer. And I need to basically observe the div or you can say sentinel ref. So I'll just write const sentinel node equal to sentinel ref dot current. Now if I have the sentinel node, then observer is gonna observe the sentinel node. And I think I missed out a couple of things. Here I needed to pass in options also, yeah. So this is the callback. I needed to pass the options also. First is gonna be the root. Root by default, if you don't pass it or you give it null, is gonna be your viewport. And then root margin, I'll give it 0 pixel because I don't want it to, I just want a default styling. I don't want it to change the margins. Threshold is an interesting property because it's gonna tell you like how much threshold you want the API to be called. Like you can imagine like when you scroll, you can have a very big element and you don't want to load, basically you don't want to fetch products when it loads the whole element. And basically whole element is visible. You want to only fetch the products when even if the partial element is visible. So you can imagine like 1 is 100% and 0 is 0%. Okay, you can do 0 to 100 values. I'll be giving 100% for this. Anyways, observe we'll call it. And when you do observer.observe sentinel node, you're basically putting it as an entry, and that's why I'm checking for the first entry, which is entry 0, and if when I'm checking whether it's intersecting or not. And if it is intersecting, that means your viewport is intersecting with that div element. And if your viewport is intersecting with that div element, that means that element is visible, somewhat partially at least. And that's why we're checking in the threshold whether we want the element to be completely visible. Only then fetch the products. I've went through everything in a lot of stuff in one shot. I would say to check out the ambient docs if you get confused. Anyways, I need to return it also. Clean up, I'll just write a cleanup function. I don't want to unobserve. Basically, I don't want to observe it after it gets mounted out. So in fan scroll, let me come back, refresh it. As you had seen previously, load more was coming up. I'm not sure why so many API calls I made. But as you can see, whenever you have the load more shown, only then the elements get, only then the API call gets triggered. As you can see, load more, load more. And now you can tweak with all these values like with the threshold, root margin, etc. but I just wanted to give you a brief summary of brief explanation on how you can go about it. I would say you check out MDN document it. It's more in detail there with all of the edge cases and all of the examples as well. So, anyways, I'll be putting out this code as part of the GitHub repository for React front-end machine coding. I'm planning to have more videos as such with regards to React front-end machine coding. So, if you're interested for that, let me do subscribe, do comment, share. It motivates me to make more such videos. And that's it. And bye.